Hello everybody, I hope you're all doing good. I'm doing good by God's grace. Yeah, I wanted to share with you something. It was a night vision, and I would like to read the Bible first before I get into it. Amen. Revelation chapter 6 that will be verse 5. It says that when the Lamb opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, "Come." I looked, and there before me was a black horse. Its rider was holding a pair of scales in his hand. Then I heard what sounded like a voice among the four living creatures, saying, 2 pounds of wheat for a day's wages, and 6 pounds of barley for a day's wages, and do not damage the oil or the wine. Amen. I had a dream, and yeah, I'm a person who dreams a lot, but I have come to learn in my spiritual journey that not every dream got anything to do with anything. Amen. Some dreams are just dreams. Most of your believers all know what it's all about somewhere, one day, because anyway, this thing has been happening for decades. Amen. The economy crashing. It ain't something new. Okay. Is it one day gonna be much worse than it used to? Probably will be one day. I had a dream. In this dream, it was strange. Okay. I'm in the dream, and somebody comes to me and tells me the black horse is here. Another person pops up and say the black horse is here. And then suddenly everybody I'm meeting in the dream tells me the black horse is here. Suddenly it was like some people surrounding me telling me the black horse is here. The black horse is here. So morning came, I thought about it. I like, what was that all about, you know? I went to work, came home. So evening, when the kids went to sleep, chilling with my wife, then I told her like, hey, I had this dream, and everybody in the dream was telling me the black horse is here, you know? And I say, you know, it was just a dream. I made fun of it, like, hey, why did I dream about black horse is here? What did they tell me that, you know, I got nothing to do with horse? I mean, I'm not into horses, you know? And so we laughed about it. And we go to bed. I get up at night for praying, and I go back to sleep. Suddenly, now, like I said, in my spiritual journey, all right, there's dreams, amen, and then I have had this thing, which we also read it in the Bible, amen, coming out of the body, amen. You go into the spirit, amen. And the thing is that you're laying on the bed, amen, and this started to take place when I became a believer, amen. But as a little boy, I remember the first time it came to me, amen. But as I became a believer, I started seeing a lot of things in the spirit, you know. I'm laying on my bed, and my spirit will come out, amen. My spirit will come out, and I've been to Japan, amen. I've been to the Philippines. I've seen my uncle in prison, amen, and so many things, amen. I could share so many things, amen. So I'm laying on my bed, and when I open my eyes, I find myself in a different place, far away. But here's the thing, the body at home, amen, knows that my spirit is out. And my spirit, which is out, far away, knows that the body is home, laying on the bed. Amen. This is a different topic for another day. Amen. But I have seen a lot of things. God has showed me a lot of things in this way. And I never doubted. You know, dreams they can be hard to tell whether they're going to come to pass or not. Just like I said when I was talking with my wife about why these people telling me black horse, I didn't take it serious. I just told my wife, well, it's just another dream, maybe true, maybe not true. But you see, this right here, coming out of the body, it's something that always takes place. Amen. It might take time and sometimes not take time. Amen. So I'm out of the body, and right now I had two. That night I was shown two things. Amen. So we're gonna keep the other, but I'm gonna go into this one right now about the black horse. So I was shown the first thing, and then suddenly I found myself standing. It was dark. Amen. I found myself, I was standing before, I believe, I don't know if what they call it a stall or something like that. And there was a horse. There was a horse inside. Now, I knew there was a horse inside. I could hear the sound of the horse. And the horse, I knew in my spirit, amen, that the horse was so big. Amen. It will take like 2,000 of normal horses, put them together to have such a big horse. Amen. It was a big horse. It was a black horse. Amen. Now, I was coming closer and closer to come and see this horse. Amen. So when I came closer and closer, it was inside. Suddenly came out a young, small, whatever, I don't know what should I, a small horse. Amen. Okay, comparing to the other one. So it came out, and it was a ugly horse. I don't know if you've seen the Lord of the Rings. I think there's these big horse, black horses in there, ugly horses, and that little horse was ugly, okay, and it started coming towards me, and I started backing off, because one thing for sure I got to say is that seeing things in spirit, amen, we can read even in the book of Revelation that John, when he was in the spirit seeing things, he himself was, he was in fear. Amen. We see Daniel in the spirit seeing visions, he was in fear. And so, because you are there, you are there, you are seeing it. I was there. The horse was there. Amen. Just as you can see me. So it's real, and you react real. Amen. I have seen floods years ago. Amen. When I started my journey, I was taken to, like, for example, in the Philippines, you are put there, and suddenly you see the sea is getting high and high, and the waves are getting big, and suddenly they are coming to the land, and you're standing there, and I always just run, run, because it's real. You see the people, you see the people running for their lives. You feel their fear, it's yeah. So this horse started to come towards me, amen, and I started back off. I started taking some stuff and throwing at it, and it just, it didn't look back or shake or whatever. It just kept coming and looking at me and coming, amen. Suddenly, close my eyes, and that's how most of the time I come out of those visions. And so the thing is that always when I see the things in spirit, when I'm out of the body, amen, when I see these things will take place, always take place. Now, when I do not know. So what I believe is that I believe like this one is gonna be what I believe, you know, what I believe. I haven't been told anything, but I believe it's something that is gonna be like, you know, worse, you know, like what they call it, the Great Depression or whatever. And I do not know so much about what to do in such a time, but one thing I know, you know, one thing I do know, just as we learned from Joseph, you know, that the important thing to do is to store up food, you know, that you got enough food, because the time is coming, I guess, when this thing goes down, that means things get expensive, you know. A lot of people gonna suffer, even the rich themselves, they're gonna lose a lot. I believe that it's on the way when I do not know, you know, and we all know that these things have been here. They come, they go. How long does it take? Who knows? Amen. How big do they be? Do they, you know, how big will they be? Will it be or whatever? We do not know, you know. So I just want to say we got to prepare ourselves. Amen. We got to prepare ourselves. Get yourself a lot of food in your house. Amen. That was it. Amen. I love you all. God bless you all. Shalom.